Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I know it's been a minute, but I got a nice long video for you. I got a 3-piece project that I'm working on. It's been a minute since I started this project, and it was due time that I finished it. So you're going to see me bouncing back and forth. I have 3 wooden plaques, and I'm going to be throwing everything but the kitchen sink at them. So for this one, I'm going to start with a Stamperia stencil and some Finnabair paper texture paste. And I did cover this plaque with just some cheap black acrylic paint. If y'all know me, that's my favorite go-to black acrylic paint. And I'm just using a rubber spatula to put my paper texture paste through the stencil. And throughout the video, I know it's a long one, but I'm going to be bouncing back and forth between all 3 pieces. Now I have some Americana decoupage paper, vintage silhouette, I think that's what it was, and some Liquitex matte medium. I've had this in my stash for, I don't know, we're not going to talk about how long it's been in my stash, but I wanted to grunge up the background of the 2 of the plaques that I'm doing. And I just thought that these printed decoupage papers would have been perfect for that. So I'm just putting some matte medium down and putting one corner of the decoupage paper down and then putting another layer of matte medium on top. And normally I would just tear the edge off. I don't know why I cut this, which I normally don't do, but you'll see on the second plaque that I do tear the edge off, and then I go back and tear off the little edges of the first one. I don't know what I was thinking. I was thinking I was trying to spare, because like what if I tore it and then I ripped off what I needed? I don't know, whatever. So I cover same process for the second one, and you'll see here how I tear it off to give it like a nice rough but yet smooth edge. Doesn't even make any sense. You know what I mean. So, and like I said, I know it's a long video, but it's 3 pieces. It's mixed media. It's a lot of work. I tried to cut out as much as I could, but yet still give you guys a good detail of what I was doing. So I filed down the edges a little bit, and I'm going in with some amazing casting resin. I will have a link in the description box below, an affiliate link if you want to get your hands on some for yourself. This stuff is my favorite casting resin. It's a 2-part resin, mix 1-to-1 ratio, cures in 10 minutes. Hands down my favorite, and one of my favorite molds. And always, wear your protective gear, your gloves, your respirators if you need to. And I'm gonna time lapse this. You're not gonna, it doesn't look like time lapse, but because you don't see me moving around or anything, but you're gonna see how fast it cures. And it literally cures in 10 minutes or less, depending on the depth of your mold. And this one's pretty deep, so, but still 10 minutes, popped it right out of the mold, and it was good to go. So I actually poured this mold twice. I wasn't going to make you guys sit through and watch the process. I did the same thing 2 times. Popped that out, and it was perfect. So now back to the first plaque, and all that paper texture paste is dry. And then I'm just using that same black acrylic paint and covering up the texture paste. And the reason I didn't do the texture paste first before I put the first layer of paint down was because I wasn't sure what I was going to do with that background. But here we are. So now I'm going back to the second ones, and I'm using deep turquoise, burnt sienna, ochre, and emerald, I think. Finnabair's liquid acrylics. Now, this is what took me the longest. And I'm doing this for both of the two side plaques. I use these like watercolors. I painted these two plaques for what seemed like an hour, back and forth, back and forth. Some of this, obviously, it's sped up a little bit, but some of it I recorded in real time, and then some of it I actually recorded in time lapse because it was just going to eat up battery time. It was going to eat up footage time. But I swear, I painted these for easily an hour, just adding color, adding water, adding color, adding water. But I really wanted like a grungy background. And it was just a matter of putting the color down, spraying it with water, adding water, taking water away. Here comes the time lapse. Don't get dizzy. But like I said, it took me forever to get the color right and exactly, where I wanted it and the grunge that I wanted it to look like. So I finally got the color where I wanted it. And then I'm just going to go in with my nail file, and I do have a big file block, which I don't know why I didn't use that. I just used the skinny nail file, but whatever, hindsight. And I'm just roughing it up a little bit more, just to give it more of a grungy feel. So I wanted some of the paper to show through. So back with the cheap black acrylic, because that's my go-to and it's my favorite. It's a nice matte look, especially when it soaks into raw wood. It's just, I don't know what it is. It's my favorite matte black acrylic paint. So I'm going to do the edges of these. With the 3 pieces, I didn't want them all to look exactly the same, but yet I wanted them to match. I wanted them to look like a nice set. So I wanted them to tie in together with each other. So I'm going to take a makeup sponge and time lapse this also. And just bring in some of the black towards the center of the pieces. And then I have this crow winged skull that, again, I started this project so long ago. And I have some Finnabair Firebird wax. I had poured that crow skull with Alomolite clear resin, which I'll link that below as well. And I added some Tim Holtz alcohol ink to it. So I put some Firebird wax and now some Finnabair Emerald wax on the back of this first plaque. But yeah, like I said, I had started this project so long ago and it was way overdue to be finished. So just adding the 2 colors in the background, because again, like I said, I didn't want the 3 pieces to be like super matchy, but I wanted all 3 of them to tie in together, to look like a nice cohesive set. So I'm taking the emerald and going over the edges of the 2 outside plaques. And I'm going to take a little bit of that and pull it into the front of the plaques where I have the black as well. And there's a lot of little details in these pieces that, here we go, onto the long crows. So don't mind my crusty table. This is my outside, it's like my potting table for my plants and my spray paint table for when I spray outside. And of course it had rained that day, so everything looks all muddy and crusty. But I just used Rust-Oleum Black Flat Primer, which is my favorite spray primer. Now I'm going to use some Liquitex matte super heavy gel to attach all of the resin pieces to the plaques. Just lining it up And this stuff is like super crazy thick. You can see like how thick it is too to apply it, but it is super, super strong. And it dries clear, and that baby is not going to go anywhere. Then I'm going to go back in with some Firebird, and these are the crow skulls once they're dry. And I'm going to wax up the skulls with the Firebird. So they pop out from the plaque a little bit. I didn't bother painting the bottoms because you weren't going to see them anyways, because they're going to be flat up against the plaque. So I only show how I painted the one because I do the exact same process for the other one. Even though the backgrounds were a little bit different, I did the skulls the same. And then I'm using Peacock just to highlight like around the eyes and down the beak of the skulls. And like I said, I'm sorry. I know this video is crazy, crazy long, but I have hours worth of footage that I got down to, I think, 15 minutes. I don't even know how long the freaking video is. Probably 15 minutes. But I have hours worth of footage. So there it is in all its beautiful glory. Using the same heavy matte gel to attach that down. And lining it up. So, and these will be on their way to New York, to their forever home, which I'm super excited to get them finished and wrapped up and sent out in the mail. And then for some finishing touches, I'm just going to add some vintage gold to the wings of this one, just because it's like the middle piece and the one that stands out the most. I felt like this crow needed a little something different from the other two. So I'm not going to add any vintage gold to either of the other two pieces. I just felt like this guy needed a little something different. So I'm just going to add some to the wings and then highlight all that, cracked goodness around the skull itself. So that was that. And then some to the edges of the wings. And I think that's that. Yeah. So there she is. He is. It is. And all its beautiful gloriness. And I'm so happy that I decided to get these done. Finally take the time to get these projects done. Because I've had forever to get them done, and it's just been one thing after another, and I felt horrible that I couldn't get them done, and I put them off. But they are done now, and they will be boxed up today and get sent on their way to New York, where they will be at their forever homes. I didn't show on camera, but I did add some picture hangers on the back so they could be hung on the wall. Yeah, so I hope the recipient is super happy, and yeah, I'm excited. I love them, and I hope you guys enjoyed. I know it was super long, and I know I'm super MIA besides my live streams, but I'm going to get back to it, and I know I say that all the time, and I suck, and I'm sorry. But enjoy the still shots. Thanks for hanging out with me for this super long video. I don't know how many times I can say super in the next 30 seconds, but you guys are awesome, and I will catch you in the next one. You guys are great, And if you haven't subscribed, if you stuck with me this long and you're not a subscriber, I would love for you to subscribe. I guess I should say that in the beginning of my videos, but whatever. It is what it is. I would love for you to subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.